Yesterday I was off town and I was treasure hunting. Beside my rental business, it's very small since the items we are hiring out to movie companies, they're not so often used in European films. So Wild West is a rare topic here, but okay. So normally I also do an Etsy shop, and we tried to financiate a movie today, within this year. So I'm looking out for fancy stuff to sell in my Etsy store. So I found some really cool treasures yesterday. Absolutely crazy, but I have known this before since where I'm living here currently. We are here currently. That's a doll town. Why doll town? Here we're in last 2 centuries. There were centuries. Even in the 1900s, here were dolls produced in home business and also made in factories. All these buildings here that are around my current storage and living room and whatever, are a lot of factories. Were a lot of factories that were making dolls, and these are closed now. And I think nobody's anymore producing dolls here. But long talking, make it short. I was off town yesterday, and because we are here in Thuringia in Germany, there are a lot of places that were producing dolls for the worldwide market. And what I found, you want to know? Yeah. So I was yesterday off town, and somebody tried to throw this stuff out. What is this? I want to show you because it has to do with this place, but also this. Although these were not from here, what is this? This is a mold for a doll's head, a bisque porcelain doll's head, and these doll's heads came from around 1900, and you have the face here, the face side, and you have here the back side. And at the back side, here inside, I don't know if it's to see if you can see it. Yeah, it's maybe better. This is as a factory sign. These doll heads were produced for William Goebel. That was a famous doll maker. And these were later on mounted, but these porcelain doll heads, they were made separately. And I think I had one or two for legs. That they're quite more rare than these doll's head molds. I had some in my car, so I don't know where to put them yet, but we will see. Okay, you can call me a little bit crazy, but okay. How did these molds survive? Since with this signature here, that's maybe around 1900, 1910, maybe even in the 19th century. I don't know exactly, I don't know the company dates, but that's something around 1900. So, how did they survive? And that's how I came across it. Somebody rebuilt his home. That was a former factory. This factory, and because we have this, I cannot show it to you, but I have seen it here in this building too. When these molds were a little bit distressed or discarded, and they made different designs, then these molds you could throw away, or even back then, everything was pricey. So the people, when they rebuilt their houses, whatever, inside, they used them as bricks. So just simply as building material. And I went to the company where I did not know, but before that, but they had peeled them off all the walls to restore, to simply build up the place where they were, where they are, to make flats from it. So these, I came across these. They wanted, they had not the storage anymore for these molds. There are several ones. Car is full here. So that's how they survived. And even here in the walls back of me, on the other side, you can see these molds, some of these molds. But there's just storage units under the roof, so it's a little bit difficult to see, so I cannot show it you here. But they are here, and they were used as bricks. So, yeah, how did it work back then? And this is a gypsum, and they had put together these molds, and then the porcelain, the raw material. That's it's like a sauce. It's not a when you do a ceramic stuff, and you build it up by hand, then it's a hardener material. But for this material, you put a lot of water in, that it's a consistence like ketchup, for example. It's flowing, and this thin material you simply fill in. So, and the gypsum, that dries out everything that comes in. So the head, the later doll's head, is drying out from the outside to the inside. And this is an industrial process where the people really tested it and knows how many minutes they have to keep the mold like this. Later on, when it hardens out and the wall becomes thicker and thicker, then it's simply the inside material that's still very wet is just flowing out. They simply turn around the mold, and then when it's dried, the doll's head inside is drying. It's now empty inside because the wet material, this ketchup consistent material, is simply flown out, and the wall from the doll's head is surviving inside and it's drying. So later on, you take out the doll's head from this mold, and then you see here this back of the head, for example, and even the ace. This later on, when it's like in German it's called Lederhart. It's when the material is drying and it's not really dried, not really stiff, but a little bit wonky still. So you can cut it easily and clean it up so that all these, from these molds, these sides and so on, that all this stuff is going away, and you have a really beautiful doll's head. So you cut out the ace and the mouth, and even here the back of the head, because later on they put in glass eyes. These glass eyes that are when you put the doll down, that it's closing the eyes. And this was a mechanic that was filled in from, especially with the doll's head, with very small necklines here, neck holes. They filled it in from the back of the head. And that's why this part is later cut off. Then it's burnt, so you have the bisque porcelain head later on. So the funny thing is, as I said, these items did not survive as factory items, but they survived as a bit distressed and discarded bricks in the wall. So, but as I said, here around all these places here around, there were doll factories, and sometimes these houses here on this side of the road were built up around 1910, and when you do garden work here, it could be that you find a cave of legs and arms and glass A's. These are coming from my garden. It's still soil inside. So when you dig in your garden and your garden is looking at you. It's really crazy because sometimes it just these front comes. These are Dolls A's that were not very good in quality, so they did not use them and they had thrown them away. And sometimes on lower soil grounds, they put in a lot of trash from the time back then and filled it up, that it's the land could be better used for gardening and so on. So that's how these glass A's pop up in the area here around. And even, as I said, these dolls' heads, yeah. And if these old dolls had looked for them, also with these in the back with the company sign, I had looked up in the web, and they were traded about 200, 300 to 500 euros each when they are really well dressed and really with a mohair wig and whatever, beautiful painted and so on. So it was really crazy. So this is stuff you come sometimes across, but it's very rare, and it just turns up, when some people build up their own places and renovate them. Then sometimes these things pop up, even after 100 years of existence in a wall. So I don't know if they still could be used, but it's really interesting since, as I said, these are collector's dolls with these signatures here in the back. It's really funny. So this is what the treasure I found yesterday, and so let's see if we can get the money together for a little movie, for a documentary. So let's see. next adventure tomorrow or so. Bye.